This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
Hi, my name is Igor Kheifets, and this is the List Building Lifestyle, the only podcast which delivers cutting-edge conversion strategies from the online trenches straight to your earbuds. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. I also invite you to grab a free copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. And now, once again, it's time to claim your list building lifestyle. Welcome back to another edition of the List Building Lifestyle with your host, Igor Kheifets. In spite of me bashing Facebook and social media all the time, my least favorite and least profitable traffic source is actually banner ads. Yeah, in fact, less profitable than Facebook too, because I was able to make Facebook work several times in my lifetime, although less so recently. But banner ads have always been sort of like this rotten apple in my basket. Because, you see, the problem with banner ads is that you pay for impressions and it's up to you to generate that click-through rate, the CTR. So you could be, on average, right, you could be getting, say, 100 clicks from 10,000 impressions, which means your banner ad has appeared 10,000 times on people's screens and phones and computers. Well, probably mostly it's desktop traffic, actually. And then only 100 of these people clicked on the link. Now, of course, the 10,000 impressions, I mean, those are not unique. So you could have appeared only on 4,000 people's computers, but, you appeared several times for each of them. But that's not the point. The point is that regardless of how many clicks I pull, whether 50, 100, 200, I will always pay the same price for the impressions, which means that my cost per click is calculated based on how many clicks I could pull, which means that as a banner advertiser, as somebody who runs the damn banner ad, my job is to do whatever I can to pull the most clicks. So I have to walk the fine line between, doing something outrageous to get people's attention, to get them to click, and to not go overboard and generate clicks that are not interested in what I've got to offer. And so one of the reasons why I really hate banner ads at this point is because no matter which banner ad strategy I try, I am never able to make it work financially for me. And the traffic I'm getting is always so cold, really, really cold. In fact, almost offensively cold, because instead of filling out their details, people oftentimes fill out a bunch of bogus information into the form. And they sort of like just come in to troll and see what I've got rather than to genuinely inspect and maybe even make a decision. So in my entire lifespan of marketing online, I've made about a dozen attempts to run banner ads, and only one of them was successful. And the only reason it was successful is because I was selling a really, really expensive coaching program to a really, really targeted crowd, advertising my banner on a website where I was already pretty famous. Of course, I'm talking about the Warrior Forum. The Warrior Forum is probably one of the few places I will ever test from now on for banner ads for internet marketing products. And if you haven't yet, I would probably recommend you do. Ever since Freelancer took over, however, when they bought the Warrior Forum out for like $80 million, it's not been the same. The quality of the traffic has really gone down. And compared to when I was advertising on the Warrior Forum back in 2013 and 2014, I could run a $100 banner ad for 24 hours and generate, one or two, $6,000 or $8,000 sales off of that. So naturally, I only needed one sale to cover a full month worth of banner ads. But at this point, it's not so, because first off, the competition has grown a lot on the banner ad, and this is probably one of the downsides of having a publicly available traffic source where everybody else can see that you're advertising. So as soon as they do, they start trying and they upload ads and they compete, etc. Second thing, the price has gone down. Incidentally, it's supposed to improve your advertising, of course, but by dropping the price a little bit, by now charging $60 for 10,000 impressions, Freelancer has killed the banner ad on the Warrior Forum. What they've done is that they lowered the barrier to a point where anyone can advertise and they can do whatever they want, and it takes them too freaking long When Warrior Forum was owned by the previous owner, which incidentally I cannot recall the name, they were charging $100 for 24 hours. So they weren't really charging you based on impressions, they were charging you based on time. And what that made, it made virtually impossible for most people to advertise on the Warrior Forum because they just couldn't afford it. I mean, it was just too little of an advertising for such an incredible amount of money. And so that is why I was thriving, because I could easily afford that with my high ticket program. But now that everybody's advertising and it's so polluted, then it isn't as effective as it once used to be. Now, but you'd think that, hey, Igor, okay, but that's just one form of banner advertising. Why don't you try other forms? And so I did. I've tried banner advertising on Google, the visual network, on the graphic network, right? Whatever it's called. I mean, they could have just called it banner ads, but they came up with some stupid Googlish name for it. And that has generated the same effect. I'm able to get the clicks. However, they just don't seem to convert for me personally. Of course, everything I'm mentioning in this episode is my personal experience, and I don't know what your experience is going to be, and I would recommend you test it out. But for me, is the least profitable traffic source from all Google related traffic sources is the banner ads. And why is that? I really don't know. Perhaps people take it their own way. Perhaps they perceive anyone who advertises on a banner ad, even if it's a retargeting ad, maybe they just perceive it their own way. Maybe they don't take it seriously, like Facebook, right? When people go on Facebook, their newsfeed is flooded with ads and nobody takes those ads seriously anymore. So you have to appear on their Facebook feed for like 30 times before they will even acknowledge your existence. And that just, again, takes too much time and too much money, because on Facebook, just like on other banner ad related traffic sources, even though Facebook is not a banner ad related traffic source, it's sort of like its own little hybrid. On Facebook, you're paying per impression. And so if your ad doesn't pull the right CTR, click through rate, then you end up paying way more money per lead. Now, it doesn't mean that if you're pulling a good CTR, then you're going to pay less per lead, because then you could be just getting lots of clicks and no conversions. So that is why, these impression-based traffic sources that require you to worry about the click are so annoying to me, and I really, really hate them. I honestly do hate them. I'd much rather drive traffic on a cost per click basis. Cost per click meaning that, I only paying per an actual click on my link. And these, of course, are solo ads, AdWords, these types of traffic sources that are working much better for me and have always worked much better for me, because there's no need to get distracted on the CTR. Because the problem with CTR hunting is that you forget what your number one goal in an advertising campaign really is. And that goal is to make money, to make sales. And when you're so busy, when you're investing so much energy into getting more CTR, into getting higher CTR, into perhaps like trying to figure out how to draw a red or a pink frame to your ad image, what kind of arrow to use here, maybe like a smiley face, maybe you'll just put a text on a white background and disguise it as a hyperlink by making it blue and underlining it. Maybe you'll do that, and that's when they click. When you're busy figuring that shit out, you're not figuring out how to make more money, how to create more offers, how to create a better backend, how to be smart about your email follow-up, and so on and so forth. All you're concerned about is the damn CTR. But then what happens if, God forbid, you succeed? What if you then take your CTR from 0.02 of a percent to say 0.98? Then you're just getting more clicks. But you're not making any money still, because you forgot that you're supposed to sell something. You're supposed to get the right type of leads. And so all of a sudden you find yourself spending a ton of money, getting a ton of clicks, but now it's even more frustrating than it used to be, because while you're getting all these clicks and all this traffic, you're not making any sales. So you've just wasted 2 weeks trying to come up with this brilliant banner ad or this brilliant Facebook ad image that didn't yield any results whatsoever, and you just spend a lot of time, a lot of money trying to get where you are today. So why would you do that if you could literally not worry about any of that nonsense and simply pay for the targeted click with something like solo ads or AdWords? But of course, again, I've mentioned this in several previous episodes. AdWords is not as easy as it seems. a decent keyword, a decent click will cost you anywhere between $5 and $15, depending on the industry. If you're in the weight loss niche, get ready for 20. If you're in the insurance niche, get ready for 50. And a lot of times you won't even be allowed to advertise because of some stupid Google policy. So you have to keep that in mind, and you have to really consider the opportunity cost when you're choosing the traffic source to use for your business. Is it worth investing 2 months into trying to figure out a great CTR strategy and go CTR hunting? Because, once you do, and maybe even if you make a few sales, you'll have a competitor trying to knock it off real quick, because anyone who advertises on the impression-based traffic sources, they're always watching their competitors. They're always watching for the ads that appear all the time. They're running all the time, which means these ads are successful. And the moment they figure out your ad is successful, they will knock it off. They will copy and paste it. If you're using a pink arrow pointing sideways, and that's the reason why you're getting great CTR, 2 days from now, you will have someone upload an image with the exact same freaking arrow pointing sideways in pink color, because that's what people do. They don't want to, split test, and they don't want to test for themselves. They want to optimize. They just want to come in and hit the jackpot. So what they do is they use software and creativity to spy on successful ads, or at least whatever is perceived successful, and to knock them off. So what you've done by investing 2 months of hard work is really you have prepared the soil for the guy coming after you, and you made his job easier by telling him what works and what doesn't and testing it with your own money. So if you want to do that, be my guest. But honestly, just drop the impression-based CTR, the impression-based traffic sources, and move to a CPC traffic source of some kind. So if you're in the business opportunity space or in the marketing space, try solo ads. Or if you're in a different wide niche, then try something else. But whatever that is, impression-based traffic sources, for me, in my experience, have so far been nothing but a waste of time, and highly recommend you go the other route. So thank you again for tuning in for another episode of The List Building Lifestyle. I'm your host, Igor Kheifets, and until next time we chat, have a good one. Thank you for listening to The List Building Lifestyle. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes or Google Play to never miss an episode. Because who knows, just one conversion tactic we share on the show might double your list and double your business. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. And don't forget to claim your complimentary copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. This is Igor Kheifets, and until next time we talk, have a good one.
This is the podcastfactory.com.